Lunarians and Brigandine fans alike. I am your host, Sonari. It is time to get into the synopsis of the Brigandine website that is hosted by Happinet Games. As you can see, I have donned this beautiful new map graphic here on my desktop background. You can also get this on the website as well. I will be showcasing where that is, so please stay tuned. I hope you enjoy the tutorial, or the tour rather, of the new website for the new Brigandine game. Now, as I mentioned before in the previous video that I did for the analysis of the trailers, the English and the Japanese trailers, this was going to be split into two different parts for analysis. I wanted to put all of this together, but it was just way too long. So if you have missed that video where I'm discussing my thoughts and doing the still shots on the trailer and stuff like that for the English and Japanese, you can find that video in the top right hand corner on the information tab. Please check that out, and also let me know your thoughts on that video as well. If you are interested, there is several Brigandine resources in the description below, including the new website, of course, that I'm going to review today, but there's also a fan-based website that is being run by my good friend Runersia Trader, so please check that out in the description below, join that up. And we also are hosting a Discord server, so please check that out as well. Everybody is welcome. And one last thing before we get into the analysis, you guys are going to flip when you see this. I have taken a screenshot of something very special that the Japanese customers are going to be getting as soon as Brigandine releases. By the way, it is spring 2024, the Japanese release. Let me clarify that. But look at what they're getting. I'm going to zoom in. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Collector's Edition. Collector's Edition. Soundtrack, equipment box, art book, steel book. It's absolutely gorgeous. You better believe that I am going to get this if it releases in the West as Collector's Edition. I will have this. Believe me. Anyway, I wanted to show that off real quick, so let's continue. So without further ado, this is my review of the website that is being hosted by Happinet Games for the new Brigandine game on Nintendo Switch, available spring 2020. Stay tuned. I hope you enjoy. Right off the bat, we have a beautiful graphic of the leaders of all the countries with the nice little title here that we all know and love. The same font. I cannot get over that still. We are going to check out the news, introduction, game system, character, creator. The spec is not available right now. We've already seen the trailer, and then we'll look at the special tab as well. So let's go ahead and look at news first, which is only 2 things right now. This means it's a brand new website. So we've already seen the trailer, and this news right here talks about them launching the presentation at the Tokyo Game Show. So if you want to read up on that, you can. But yeah, that's it for news. So it will be updated as time progresses, obviously. So definitely hit up the link in the description where the website is, and then check it out for yourself. Make sure you keep up to date with the website itself. Scrolling down a bit further on the main page, we haven't gone to the introduction just yet, but it introduces the story synopsis here. Let's go ahead and read. Runersia 781. If this is the same universe, this is 500 plus years into the future from Forsina. So, a new era of war is being ushered in by 5 nations and a small tribe, each with conflicting ideals, beliefs, histories, and faiths. O visitor to this world, who will you become? And what will you fight for? When you finally unify the continent, memories from the record of Runersia will revive, and you will become to know every story that's played out here on this continent of Runersia. This kind of makes me wonder if, like, there's going to be an extensive post-game, because it says, when you finally unify the continent, memories from the record of Runersia will revive, and you will come to know every story that's played out here on this continent of Runersia. Now, it's a very small suggestion, I may be completely wrong, but that would be really, really cool if we had some type of post-game content to look forward to that was pretty extensive, or even like maybe even like chronological order of storylines where like the leaders are like dying off and their heirs are taking over for the next era of like peace and then war, etc. Whatever's gonna happen, I have no clue, but yeah, that would be really cool if there was a continuation past the first campaign, like you beat the entire campaign and then it just continues. So yeah, that would be really cool to see that. And at the very bottom here, they are listing the creators and the cast for each country. So the only name that I recognize is, of course, the music composer. I talked about that earlier in the video. But let me know if any of these voice actors or actresses seem familiar, as I mentioned before. And also let me know about this question mark right here, where we have two voice actors, and it looks like an actor and an actress. I have no clue. But in any case, let me know what you think about this, if this is maybe like voice actors for a boss or a couple bosses, or like two main protagonists that aren't like associated with the Brigandines or anything like that. Yeah, whatever your thoughts are. If these are notable names, also let me know that as well. That would be really cool to see what they might end up taking over. If like they are notorious for like doing villains, that might suggest that these are villain characters, but we'll see. Let me know. All right, scrolling back up to the top of the page, we are going to hit up the introduction tab right here. I believe this goes back over the story, but I think it goes into more detail. Let me see. So, yeah, I believe so. Okay, let's read this real quick. The continent of Runersia and Brigandines. Runersia has been showered with mana since ancient times. Mana is a mystic power bestowed upon humans by the Rune God. Those who receive this power develop great strength in sword and sorcery, as well as the ability to summon ancient monsters and bend them to their will. These powerful warriors are called Rune Knights. 5 mana stones found on this continent, in the past believed to have protected humans from magical beasts, have been embedded into equipment worn by Rune Knights. The special armor is called Brigandine, and has been with humans since time immemorial. As time went by, Brigandine slowly became symbols of peoples, nations, and ideologies. Each Brigandine came to have a name: justice, glory, freedom, sanctity, and ego. Okay, so going back to the part about the 5 mana stones being embedded into armor and calling it Brigandine is really, really cool, because those of you who are familiar with medieval times, Brigandine was an actual suit of armor that they wore in medieval times. You can actually YouTube the word Brigandine. You'll see, my series up there, but like, you'll also see the first or second video as the showcase of the armor piece from medieval times. There's a guy that showcases that armor. So yeah, if you need evidence, it's right there. But in any case, it's really cool that they're using these mana stones that resemble these ideologies: justice, glory, freedom, sanctity, and ego, and embedding them into armor, calling it Brigandine. I think that is a really, really cool concept, because that wasn't even a thing in Legend of Fortuna or Grand Edition. We didn't even hear about stuff like this. So maybe there's some reference to this in the old games that we haven't caught, but I highly doubt it. Like, this seems to be pulling like some type of magical power or mana power from the other continent of Fortuna. I don't know. I have a really interesting theory about that I am currently working on. I will let people know in the Discord server especially, but like, yeah. So for right now, my idea is that they're pulling something from Fortuna and bringing it over to here in order to have these magical powers. It says it's provided by the Rune God, which I do not know who that is. I know that in like the first trailer of, or like the beginning cinematic of the Legend of Fortuna series, Leoness is being surrounded by a bunch of runes, and then that one rune comes to her orb, and then it like breaks or something like that. I have no clue what that is supposed to signify, but it seems related. So let me know what your thoughts are about influences from the previous game as far as lore goes, like mana showers. They mentioned mana showers in the beginning of the trailer, and if that has anything to do with like essence from Fortuna or something that came from at the end when Jormungandr was defeated, because we know that he took in mana to be revived and break the seal. So as soon as Jormungandr was defeated at the end of Grand Edition, that may have been a key to lead into this era where mana was released from him, because it was stored the entire time you were in that campaign. So I'm talking way too much about this. This is highly a conspiracy theory on my part, but I think it's really interesting to speak about. So let me know what your thoughts are about what I just said in that regard about the lore, and we can have a discussion in the comments below or the Discord server, either one. So yeah, let me know about that and what your thoughts are. Anyway, scrolling down here, we have the multi-protagonist saga of Continent Conquest and Rune Knights. This is simply the insignias of each one represented by the country. The Brigandine of Justice is worn by the Nosalio Kingdom, and the Brigandine of Glory is worn by the Republic of Guimul. Brigandine of Freedom, worn by the Shinobi Tribe. Sanctity is worn by the Mana Silesia Theocracy. Ego, worn by United Islands of Morelva. And Nation Without Brigandine is the Holy Gustava Empire. So this empire right here has donned like the black colors. That's a new color for Brigandine. But the original colors have been brought back with these 5 right here. Nosalio being blue, Guimul being red. I think it's red. Shinobi is green. I know that much. Mana Silesia is purple, and then Morelva is yellow. So I think that's it. So blue, red, green, purple, and then yellow. And then you have black right here with the non-Brigandine faction. So pretty cool. And that concludes the introduction tab. Let's go ahead and go to the game system. This one's going to take a while, so let's get started. Here we go. Okay, here is the extensive game system page. Let's go ahead and look at the basic summary here with game objectives, game flow, and mana. So on the game objectives, we have 4 different screenshots here within this category. It's choose one of 6 powers and unify the continent of Runersia. It's what you would expect. So I can't zoom in too far, but that's about it right there. So we can tell that the factions are at war right here with the starting positions, I believe. I don't think that this is like after a whole bunch of castles have been taken. I think this is the starting position, but in any case, we see that. We saw that earlier on the trailer. The next graphic shows a zoomed in portion of the Rune Knight count and the monster count. If you notice the parentheses next to the monster count right there, that is probably what I'm going to assume to be stock. So it's a nice way of like being able to quickly recognize, okay, there's monsters here that are in stock that are not being used. You can quickly see that just by looking at the parentheses. So most of these I think say 0, but that's a really nice touch. I really like that. So makes it a lot quicker. Next graphic is just the continent of Runersia with no country borders being seen, but a very nice graphic. I would love to have this graphic right here on my background PC for my desktop. That would be sweet. The next one is this is the country selection screen. So this is where they're selecting Nosalio Empire with Rubino as the leader, and it's selecting the difficulty. There's easy, normal, and hard. I'm assuming that it shows some type of description next to each difficulty right here. So whatever it says right here for the difficulty, it may say like what the AI will do, how much time you have to complete the campaign, stuff like that. It's probably what these numbers are right here. But yeah, that's probably what that is. I have no clue what this is down here, the synopsis. Something about the selected country, I would assume, but maybe starting Rune Knights and starting monsters, who knows? But yeah, cool. That's going. That's the end of the game objective. Let's go to the game flow. We have organization phase. It shows the year. It shows the month. It shows the current mana that you have right here on said phase. And then it has the attack phase, like we know. So that's great. Moving down to the mana portion of it. Mana is the source of this world's power. Each base has a certain amount of mana it can gather. The more bases your country controls, the more mana you will obtain. You will need this mana to summon monsters and make changes to your army. For example, summoning a powerful dragon and adding it to your army will most certainly require a considerable amount of mana. So the fact that, I know you all know how this works, obviously, but the fact that it's spelled out like this brings warm, fuzzy feels to my heart, because just seeing the same exact concepts being played out in a brand new game is amazing. I love every bit of this so far, man. I have zero like doubts that this game is going to be awesome. It's going to be exactly like you would expect a Brigandine game to be played out. So the next screen on that is just a simple loading screen. However, I do see that we have lore text potentially. So from the Rune God book, or whatever book this is, I have no clue. It seems to be showing either tips or lore. I hope it's actually lore, because us veterans, of course, don't need tips. Maybe on a few things here and there that are new. But yeah, I really hope that it is lore. I would love to read through these things several different times to get a better understanding of what's going on here in the year 781. So, all right, pretty cool. Let's go down to the next category. Scrolling further down, we have the organization phase, which we all know. We're going to look at each aspect of the organization phase with organization, summoning, equipment, movement, class changes, and quests. So we all know how this works, but I want to see the screenshot so bad. So let's look at the first organization phase category. This is where you organize your troops. Rune Knights are your platoon leaders. Each platoon can have up to 6 monsters. Mix and match knights and monsters with various abilities. How strong will you be able to make your platoons? It's time to show your mettle. So the first graphic is obviously the overworld. We don't need to see too much here, but we do see something different right here in the bottom left. I think this shows a castle's power in total with the mana cost, or the mana income actually. So it shows in order from left to right. This is mana, so that's how much income you're gaining from this castle. This is how many Rune Knights are on said castle along with the monster count, and this is the total power of everything combined together within that castle. So that's new, but everything else we've already gone over, I believe. Yes, the year is up here, the turns are up here with the months, or probably just turns. I would say let's like because 24, that's 2 months really. So maybe it's just going 24 turns in 2 months per cycle. So who knows? Next graphic shows what seems like to be units with inside a castle. We've already seen most of this. I don't recognize anything new about this really, except for some extra stats down here that we haven't seen yet, but it's just like a quick glance of the stats of said leader. This is this chick right here at level 13. Yeah, just showing basic stuff. The next graphic shows the same thing, same leader. I don't really see any big differences in here that we have to really go over, but it's cool to see like the inside of the castle and that it's reminiscent almost exactly how it was in the previous game. I am pleased to note that we can actually see the stock without having to zoom back and forth between 2 different menus. So the stock right here is on the right here, so you can see the stock as you're organizing on your main forces. So all in one big screen. I love that. So on to summoning, we have the fairy or maybe the angel. I'm not exactly sure. I think this is supposed to be like reminiscent of the fairy class, but this is the summoning menu. You can notice that we have the monsters that are available in said castle going up by mana cost, sorry. As we go up, you can see the rune cost on top, it seems. No, wait, no, that's not the rune cost. What is this 120, 50, this 140? Is that upkeep, maybe? I'm not sure what that top number is. No, that is upkeep, because there's a mana symbol next to each one of those. Yes, that is the upkeep for that monster if you summon it and put it onto your roster. So, okay, anyways. On the bottom is the cost of mana. Top is the upkeep of the monster if you were to put them on your roster. So, okay, cool. That clarifies some things there. Awesome. Next graphic is, I think, you paying for said monster. This fairy or angel. I think it's an angel because the cost... Yeah, it's definitely an angel. The cost is 85. The upkeep is 340. And it's costing what seems to be 350, which was a lot less than the previous games. It was 500 in the previous games. But yeah, 350 for the angel, it seems. No. The cost of summoning the monster is up here at 340. I was looking at it backwards. The bottom number is how much it costs to put it onto your roster, and the top number is how much it costs to summon it. Wow, I got completely turned around on that one. My bad, but you probably caught that way earlier than I did. Top number cost, bottom number rune cost. Got you. Next graphic, we see a summoned dragon, or about to summon a dragon, should I say. Showing all the stats and stuff like that. It doesn't really show anything new, I believe. It's probably going to show the cost of it, or it being summoned on the next screen. No, it does not. It shows a griffin. Okay. Yeah, nothing new here, just showing the synopsis of the status screen of each monster and showing it being summoned itself. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it with these 4 screens, just showing you different aspects of it. So okay, pretty cool. That was an interesting tab to look at. So I'm happy to see that the statistics screen is being laid out very broad, or very detailed like and stuff. So you can see every single aspect that you need to, along with a nice grid over here on the right. Yeah, very well laid out. I like how they condensed it into this one single screen. Very nice. Moving down the line, we have equipment. Now on this screen right here, we notice that I've seen this already, and I already got the initial reaction, so I'm sorry I didn't capture it. But you have gear pieces that hold a sword, an armor piece, a helmet, and an accessory. We have 4 total gear pieces for leaders. I am highly excited about this aspect of the game and cannot wait to see what the hell I can combine together. I don't think they're going to put any aesthetics on it with like the armor pieces or the accessories of the helmets, but maybe the weapons. It would be cool to at least see if they can change like the looks of the weapons on the 3D battle maps. That would be really cool, but maybe everything changes. That would be super, super slick. So anyways, on the next part of it, I think right here on the big part, this is maybe passive abilities, or that might be here on the bottom screen. I'm not exactly sure what to make of this or this. There's nothing as a reference that I can really tell what it might be other than maybe passive abilities. So yeah, anyways, really cool on equipment. We have 4 slots. I'm so excited for that. Next screen. This one is another leader, it seems, getting 4 slots as well. Weapon, armor, helmet, and accessory. Nothing new here that I can tell other than, you know, different aspects of the leader with elemental affinities, different stats and stuff like that. So moving on to the next one, we see a we see gear slots for monsters, not just an accessory. We see 3 different gear slots, I'm assuming, for monsters. We can equip our monsters with 4 different slots right here. That is amazing, man. It was already awesome that they added like collars and equipable items to monsters in the Grand Edition and stuff, but this right here, the fact that they have the same amount of slots available for monsters that they do leaders, this is huge. This is amazing. It's probably, again, not going to be anything aesthetic to it, but it might change like some coloration at least. I'm not entirely sure. So it'd be really cool if like you equipped something like of an aura maybe on this griffin here, and it would change like the color palette maybe. But this right here just seems to be like the evolved form of the tier 1 griffin, one of the evolved forms. We saw 2 earlier. But yeah, 4 pieces of equipment for a monster 2. That is huge, man. Next graphic is a loading screen. Again, I hope that this is lore. It's probably tips for new players, but anything with the book on a loading screen is probably going to be lore as well. So it'd be nice to see, you know, tips and lore combined together like they do in a lot of games nowadays with loading screens. So yeah, lots of good stuff on this equipment tab. I'm very excited for this one especially. So moving on to movement. We have, looks like, the organization phase. Yeah, this is the organization phase still, where we're moving units from castle to castle. I'm only going to assume that we can be able to multi-select castles as well. I see the Y button up here. That is in the same position that the square button was in PlayStation. So if you choose the Y button, this is probably multi-select, where you can, you know, move units at the same time from castle to castle. On the next screen, I think it shows you moving from one castle to another. No, not just yet. I think it's the next one. Yes, this next one right here shows, I think, castles selectable in this sub menu right here. Either that or it's the rune knights that are selectable from the castle that you have selected. So it would be really cool if they had a menu like this where you can like bounce back and forth between castles very quickly instead of like having to search for it with your cursor or hit the shoulder buttons to get there quick. But a quick menu for castles would be nice. But I think this is just the rune knights and their squads and stuff like that, because here's a Y button right here for multi-select potentially. And yeah, I can only assume that this is the knight quick selection menu, but it would be really cool if it would have a quick selection menu to zoom to castles very quickly. So anyway, next screen shows you actually moving from castle to castle. Now, I can only assume they're going to keep the same mechanic where it only takes 1 turn to move from castle to another castle, disregarding the distance, but I'm not going to assume that that is the case in this new game. They may have kept it, they may have not. They may give you like, they may require you to take more time in this version to get from one castle to a further castle. So who knows? Probably not, but I'm not going to assume that they kept that factor. But we shall see. It only makes sense, but we have to make some better decisions if that is the case. So rolling down the line here, we have class changes. I am super excited to go through the screenshots of this one. Okay, reading on the synopsis really quick. Knights and monsters are capable of changing classes. Each knight and monster has a deep system for growth, and they are constantly becoming stronger as they face off against enemy units. Different knight classes will specialize in areas such as offensive attacks, or magic. As they fight and grow stronger, they will be able to gain new classes. Monsters can also change classes, evolving into stronger species. In some cases, they may even become more valuable than your knights. Yes, we know how that works as well. AKA Bahamut, I'm looking at you, Drist. So the classes looks like we have a knight, maybe a paladin. This is definitely a ranger, it looks like. I think I see a bow back here. And then an evolved dragon as well. This one's a blue one. We saw a white one earlier with like some purple coloration with it. We saw a red one on the bridge, and then we're seeing this blue one right here. So like, I am so stupid excited to see the class trees and what choices we have to go from one monster to the next and like see the basic branch off into several different choices. I can only imagine they have added a ton of new choices to that, including what I said before, tier 3s for monsters that did not get tier 3s in the previous games, like the Pegasus, the Nightmare, Fenrir, High Centaur, etc., you name it. But yeah, this right here, I'm probably going to end up spending the majority of my time learning about and deciding what I want from each and every single class. I'm going to try everything, clearly. But yeah, I can't wait to see the variety, man. That's going to be awesome. That's only the first screen. Next screen, we're seeing, it looks like the green dragon, but it seems like it's the evolved form of a classic green dragon, because I see a cost 100 right here. So that's already another color. That's 4 dragon variants that I'm noticing. So we have red, blue, white, and now green, an evolved green, cost 100. Cost 100 is at level 10, so that's tier 2. Right next to him, I see a nightmare. That is a nightmare, because if you look at the unicorn down here, it's the same type of monster, right? So the same model, that is a nightmare. This right here, this skeleton looking guy, this seems like it's the tier 2 of the ghoul class potentially, because as we saw before in the I think it was the Japanese trailer, where we saw that level 20 with the 70 rune cost, that was the same cost as the Vampire Lord, as we know. So this right here is pre-Vampire Lord, or Lich, whatever you want to call it, and it costs 30, which is what the Vampire tier 2 cost in the previous game. So Vampire Lord. So yeah, this is the ghoul to Vampire Lord tree, definitely. Anything else on this screen that I'm noticing that's different? I don't think so. I do notice a variant on this class right here and this class. This is the basic angel class, and this is the evolved angel class, but it may that also may be able to go between 2 different variations, or 3 or 4, whatever the hell. I'm already seeing 4 different variations of the dragon, so I can only imagine there's more variations that we can choose from each class. We already know that there's 2 variations of the Griffin class, the red and the purple. I don't think there was anything else besides the Pegasus and the Nightmare, which we know already, but maybe there's something else beyond the Pegasus and the Nightmare, either tier 3 or a different variation at tier 2. I can't say for sure, but anyway, very exciting stuff. This is still only the second graphic. I'm taking so much time with this. So the number 3 graphic here is showing a class evolving from tier 1 to tier 2. So we see the stat increases from here to here. This one right here, I think, is going from tier 2 to tier 3, maybe? Yes, it's totally going from tier to tier. Look. We have a rune cost of 100. This is tier 2 on that green dragon from before, and it's evolving into tier 3, which is rune cost 125. So this right here, I have no clue what it is. I can't make out any of the characteristics. If you can read kanji, please let me know. Yeah, if you can read Japanese, please let me know what any of this says right here, what this tier 2 class would be, evolving to this tier 3. I would love to know what this monster is right here. I can't see much of it. I wish I could see a full model, but yeah, it's not happening. So let me know what any of this is, if you can translate at all. So, but yeah, really cool graphic here to see the class changes going from tier 2 to tier 3. We finally get to see that. Next graphic is showing tier 1 to 2, right? No, this is tier 2 to tier 3 again. This is Angel. This is like Archangel to Arc Seraph, right? So Archangel to Arc Seraph would be my guess of what the monster would be. 100 to 120. So another one right there, same concept, but really cool to see that. A nice boost over here in the graphic from the HP, intelligence, everything is expanding there. So I love the green numbers that we get to see, everything that's changing. And yeah, a full-on view like that. That's really, really cool. Next graphic is, I think, a leader. Yeah, this is a leader. I've seen her before in, I think it was the red faction. The red faction is Felicia. I think it's called Felicia. I can never remember the names right now. I'll get used to them eventually. But what I'm seeing here is, I think, her level 13 to, no. I'm seeing, I think, choices here. No. I'm seeing level 10 right here from rank 2, and it's... I don't know what to make of this, actually. I don't know how this is working. It's showing her current class here, which is look like some type of red mage, and going to like a blue type of mage here, which is tier 3 maybe. But she's only level 13. I think this is evolving from the tier 1 class to the tier 2 class. She may have like started at, if they're keeping the same mastery mechanic in this, where you need 5 stars to expert a class, or master a class. She may have started at level 8, and then needed to get 5 stars within this class to get to wherever she needs to be. But in any case, I think she's going from tier 1 to tier 2, from this one to this one, or picking a variation and being able to bounce back and forth between certain classes. Because I'm noticing that the intelligence here is dropping slightly, but certain things are going up as well, like the HP is increasing. So this may be going from mage to priest, for example. So mage to cleric, or sorcerer to mage, or sorcerer to cleric, or something like that. Something that is a neuter class going to a more of a healing class and supportive class. So I think that's what's happening here, because it only makes sense from the coloration and the model that I'm seeing. This looks more like a mage with the color, the fire mage maybe, or elementalist, going to a bishop class or a cleric class, or what was the female class? It was a no, it was a cleric. It was a cleric class. So, or the lector class. So yeah. All right, a lot of stuff happening here. I have absolutely no idea what is set in stone, but that's what I gather from this, is picking the variation at tier 2. So it's not an evolution, it's picking a variation. So really, really cool stuff. Let's move on to quests. Wow, that was a big section. All right, quests, basic stuff. We all know what this is. Dispatch a knight on a quest from one of your bases to earn armor, weapons, or other items. You may even be able to recruit knights or monsters not yet affiliated with any country. Really cool stuff here that we're seeing from the previous games. And multi-select on quest looks like this is the menu right here, or people that are currently available to do quests. I'm not sure what to make of this side menu right here. This may be like dispatching certain knights to certain locations maybe. That's a complete spitball right there, but yeah, I think the arrows right here, is that English right there? No, that's kanji. Okay, never mind. If you can read that, let me know what that says. But I think this is like how long or how well they will do on certain quests. The pieces up here, this looks like gear pieces and what's potential to find maybe. I'm seeing some differences between this one and then this one. Like the last item right here is changing from like a bag to some type of gold medallion or something like that. I cannot make it out whatsoever. I can't zoom in any further. But this right here is showing like a wand or a staff, and this one here I think shows a sword of some sort. These are accessory icons right here. This right here is a helmet, I think. Right here, I'm not sure what this is at all. But yeah, and it looks like it has values on the bottom right-hand side of the icons down here, but not here. This has a lot going on this side menu. If you can translate anything of this at all, please let me know. I would love to have a discussion about just this right here when it comes to questing. Like if it shows like the probability of getting certain items or certain types of items. Yeah, there's a lot of variables here, so let me know what you think in the comments below, please. The next graphic is showing quest results. So we can see that how the Rune Knights have performed on their quest. We have a good rating, a great rating, and an excellent rating on the top right-hand corner here of each portrait. So that's pretty cool to see how they may perform in certain quests. I think what it's showing here on the icon represented here is either an item that they have retrieved or what type of mission they went on potentially. I think it's like the gear piece that they may have received or something like that. So I'm not sure what the synopsis is right here, if this is the description of said item that they got or the name of the item that they received. I think that's what it is, yes, because if you look on the previous, they have those different options, right? On the quest, they have the weapon, the accessory, maybe the helmet. That may not be a helmet, but this right here, I have no clue what this is, and an item, a consumable item right here. And they show which type of item they got. That has to be what that is. I cannot think of anything else that is even close to what that would be. This girl brought back a bow. This guy brought back, looks like a leather hat or of some sort. This guy brought back an item. This guy brought back another helmet or something. Helmet right here. Yeah, that has to be it. I can only imagine it. I can't imagine it being anything else. But again, let me know your thoughts. I think that is it for the organization phase. Let's move on to the attack phase. Here we go. Okay, on the attack phase, we don't have nearly as much stuff to go over on the organization phase. That's always the bulk of the actual game itself. But the attack phase, we see the basic things that we know. The invasion counter will come up here when you are about to attack somebody, or they are to attack you potentially as well. Choose which troops to send into battle against which enemy bases. Remember, you may only attack enemy bases that are directly connected to a base you control. Now, I wanted some clarity. I wanted to get some clarity on to see like if it still stays true to like the 3 units being deployed at once for offense and defense. But I don't have clarity on that yet. But from what I'm seeing on like the letter indicators on the units on the battlefield, I think that is the case. They're just staying true to that original formula. But this shows the arrow going from one castle to the other castle. The purple here is attacking the red. So yeah, just basic stuff here. The next graphic is showing the synopsis of what is about to take place. So this is the beginning of the battle and showing the power comparison. This guy has 11k power. This girl over here has about 9k. So seeing the power comparison between both units and every single monster before the battle even starts is really, really cool. So we used to see that, you know, when the AI would attack each other, right? And then it would show like if they got injured or they retreated or whatever. But this right here, I think, is actually showing it when we actually do it as well. That's really cool to see, and I can only imagine they keep this also for the AI. Now, I don't know if they're going to show like injured indicators. I'm not seeing that yet, but that's probably going to be over here in the battle screen, or the victory or defeat conditions is probably going to show that here. But yeah, anyways, moving on to the actual battle screen. Here's something really cool I noticed right away. There is a turn counter over here. I like what do you call this? Yeah, just like a turn-based counter system here. We know that the turn order was based on level, going from highest level to lowest level. They may still keep that formula. However, it finally shows what the order is going to be, so we don't have to memorize it. This is really, really nice. Cannot wait to make use of this and plan ahead accordingly, because there was so many different times where I got screwed over, where I forgot who was going to be at the next turn. So I can only imagine that this will shift as the leaders level up during battle and surpass other leaders in level. I'm not sure what they're going to do though with same level, because the same level was randomized, right? So they may just like pick it at random and still place it in the turn order, which would be still amazing. We still don't have to guess at that. That was the biggest thing about like fighting the final fights in Grand Edition, where if you did indeed have maxed out leaders at level 30, you could not determine who was going to go first or in what order between yourself and the enemies with Bull Noil and his subordinates. Like, that was always a trip, and it was fun for the randomosity, sure, but you couldn't plan ahead. So I'm super excited to see that just by itself. Right beneath that, though, I see a mini map, a synopsis of the battle as it takes place. That is really cool. When they brought out Grand Edition, though, they did add something like that, where you could go like onto an empty space on the battle map, hit triangle, I believe, and see the condition of the battle, where it showed like the comparison, you know, between knights and monsters. But it also had an option there where you could see a mini map and a tactical battlefield and stuff like that as it progressed. But this is showing a stagnant or a progressive mini map. Actually, when you make a move, it will change, it seems, depending on what actions take place. So that is really cool to see. I like that a lot. And we also see the terrain right here. We see the hit percentages right here. And also, I'm assuming this is evasion. I'm not sure what AVO means, but in the original version, it was hit percentage and evasion percentage as well. So a boost or a detriment. So let's move to the next graphic and see if they actually use this with like water creatures or something. Next graphic shows more Rune Area, looks like. I'm happy to announce right away that I'm noticing that we have coloration of Rune Area jutting out from the Rune Knights. So this one, of course, is the purple faction. It's showing purple Rune Area. This over here, I think I'm seeing some red, but I could be wrong. But in any case, we're seeing faction colors for Rune Area. That's so much better, in my opinion, than just showing blue for every single Rune Knight. Now, I noticed that in the trailer reaction that I did. No, it wasn't that. It was the synopsis earlier on in this video from the English trailer that it showed blue, but it may have been Rubino that was acting, or one of Rubino's knights, and it was showing blue Rune Area, but for the blue faction. This is showing purple Rune Area for the purple faction. Anyways, enough about Rune Area. I'm not seeing any changes down here for the terrain itself, but it did get rid of the English translation for whatever reason. I'm assuming this is still a hit percentage and evasion percentage, but yeah, nothing yet as far as like boosts and showing creatures on water or on forest or anything like that. But really quick, back to the Rune Area concept. I know I thought I was done with that, but if you look on the top, if this is indeed the Rune Area, I can only imagine it is. It's not showing like the entire hex range jutting out from the actual Rune Knight. It's not showing the entire range. It's showing where you can potentially move and where you cannot. I'm assuming that right here, it's showing that this is not an accessible space past these mountain terrains right here. So that's a pretty nice quality of life thing, because even if you were next to a mountain in the original games, you would still see the Rune Area spill over into the mountain range, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was, where it would just spill over into terrain that you could not traverse. So this is just showing your limitations of where your monsters can actually go. So we'll see. I may be completely wrong in everything that I'm saying, but I'm just making up theories as I go. So anyways, next graphic, nothing new here. And we are seeing, actually, wait. Top right hand corner, what is this? Turn count. This is the faction with how many monsters, maybe? And against the unit with 11. This is some type of comparison going on between the purple faction and the red faction. This is not nice, but I think this may be like units total, maybe? The red meaning that you're losing? I have no clue, but... No, that's the faction color that's colored by the number as well. It's not like losing, it's just the purple 13 and the red 11 representing the faction. Okay, anyways, that's too much information. Go ahead. Next graphic, we have another close-up shot of the battlefield. This is showing Rubino here, again, on said terrain being selectable, looking like he's got his movement here with his Rune Area jutting out from him, which is blue. Anything new here, I don't really recognize, but turn 3, no terrain differences. No, this is just simply showing like a face-off between him and another leader. So a really cool graphic, but I don't think I can pick out any other monsters in here that are completely different. But I am seeing evolved monsters here. Here's the Nightmare, right here, confirmed. I'm seeing a different coloration right here of the Golem class that we looked at earlier. There's some purple and black coloration to it, or dark grayish coloration, which means that it may be evolving from a clay golem to a stone golem, or whatever the hell they're going to call it. But this is definitely reminiscent of the golem class, because we noticed that the rune cost was the same when we looked at it up close in the previous portion. So yeah, anyways, there's a green dragon right here. There's an evolved dragon right here. I can tell that it's bigger, but of the same model, but it's a water dragon or a blue dragon of some sort that may breathe ice or something like that. So lot of stuff to take in just this graphic alone. Look back here. This is Gustav. This is Tim Gustav right here, facing off against Rubino, or not allied. Wait. I'm kind of confused about this because there's a Rune Knight facing this way, facing to the west, and Rubino is facing to the right. But this leader is Gustav, right? I'm not crazy. This is Gustav. He's facing in the same direction as Rubino, but they're two different factions. I'm wondering if they have allied combat in the same battle. Dude, that would be so sick. That would be so sick if you could actually battle with your AI allies or do co-op with other players on the game itself, do couch co-op and participate in the same battle at once. That would be so sick. Please let that be a thing. Please let that be a thing. Oh my gosh. If I have any more information on that, I will let people know right away, and you better let me know right away as well if you find out before me. So anyways, that's huge. Next graphic, we see one of the red faction leaders being selected here. She is, she's got a hex range of what? It's 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, this is a 6 hex range. It's not showing any terrain limitations, but she's not next to a mountain. So yes, this is Rune Area right here, and where you are able to traverse and stuff like that. So basic stuff here, nothing new. No terrain effects that I'm looking at all. Just basic synopsis stuff, but really cool to see the different coloration of Rune Area from a different faction here. So, and that's the end of this category here for battle. I don't notice anything different. If you do notice anything different in any of these screens, please let me know, or anything that stands out. So, okay, going down towards victory and defeat conditions. Once all enemy platoon leaders are either defeated or retreat, you win. Likewise, you will lose if all of your knights are defeated or if you retreat. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep the same concept if the main leader is defeated and then everybody retreats. They probably will, but that you might have to defeat all of the leaders regardless if the main leader is killed off or not. So we shall see about that. I'm going to assume that if a leader is indeed killed, you have potential to capture their monsters as well. So I can't imagine they got rid of that concept, but who knows? I have no clue. Next graphic is the victory conditions being won by the oh gosh, what is this? This is not the purple faction, is it? This is the what faction is this? I don't recognize this as a main leader. I think this is no, I know what this is. This is the blue faction. This is the Norzalio Empire. I remember seeing a graphic of this guy right here being represented by the blue faction, the Norzalio Empire, and I think he is the main leader's trainer. I think he is the main leader's battle trainer. So yeah, we'll get into that later. I noticed that as soon as I looked at the website for the first time, but I didn't delve too deep into it, but I did see that. So that's the blue faction, Norzalio Empire. Next is the result. Looks like we do see that everything is grayed out right here, but I am not seeing any indicators of injury. So it may have been a clean slate battle where it's they retreated and nobody got injured on the leader's end, but they may put like injury or X's or something like that across the leader's portrait here if they did indeed get injured during the battle. So that could be anything and everything. So monsters, I don't think they would like put X's over top of the monster portraits, because I would assume they would just take the portraits away and to see what is left over from the battle on both sides. So yeah, I don't see any indicators of injury, but definitely loss of monsters, I can only assume, because power levels seem to be diminished, although even. But yeah, Gustav has retreated from this battle. Let's go to the next graphic. We have just a close-up of the Taken Castle, I believe. So yeah, that's the Taken Castle that was invaded from the Norzalio Empire over into the Holy Gustav Empire. So that's actually going from their initial position right here. I don't know what the name is right here. The English version had it in the previous trailer, but this right here was the initial castle that belonged to the Norzalio Empire, and this right here belonged to the Holy Gustava Empire. So that's pretty cool to see the result of everything. Okay, I'm almost out of breath. We have way too much stuff to cover. All right, looking at the battle map mechanics here, let's go ahead and get started with the topography. So on the topography section, we have the map features and unit preferred topography. Each base has its own distinctive geography, and a single battle map may contain mountains, forests, swamps, rivers, and other features. Units each have a preferred geographical region, and when there will have increased mobility and accuracy. Look here, we finally got a chance to see it. This is the water terrain where an aquatic unit is being selected, and it's getting additional hit percentage and evasion percentage. So it's there. I knew it was going to be anyways, but like it's really cool to see the increase when you actually look at the terrain. So how will you utilize this to your advantage in battle? This is where you must demonstrate your skills as a commander. The next graphic is showing the same monster being boosted from said terrain, and this graphic is interesting because I'm seeing additional monsters on top here that like we saw in the summoning screen, but this is not summoning, this is mid-battle. So it looks like you are able to bounce back and forth, or rotate rather, between the monsters that are selectable within the same unit. And you may be able to zoom to them or something like that, but like you can see what their character sheets are without having to back up to the main unit screen or the battlefield and then go over to the other monsters, select it, and then view theirs. So you couldn't rotate like this in the original games, but it seems as if you can right here. So really cool quality of life there. I like that a lot. Going to the next graphic, we have another sea creature of some sort right here getting benefits. So this may offer some clarity right here. So it's still talking about the topography where they're gaining bonuses from terrain. I think that this is just showing the terrain bonus right here. It may show this like indefinitely, like it won't like pop up if you go onto water, for example, and then show you. But I think right here is just, this is what is going to be advantageous if you like go to the monster's character sheet, and then it says like plus 25% movement speed or plus 25% hit percentage or something like that while on water. This is probably just descriptive of what's going to happen if you were to place said creature in water or a forest or whatever the hell it is. So in any case, yeah, so that I think gives some more clarity on that. Very nice. The next category is types, which is I think is just the elements being depicted here. So this right here, I think we talked about this earlier, but they kept the trifecta, the rock, paper, scissors mechanic between the red, the green, and the blue, where red beats green, green beats blue, and blue beats red, and white and black will still oppose each other. So they kept that mechanic. I'm really happy about that. And I'm not exactly sure what's happening from here to here. I think this is just the attack elemental affinity from this monster, and this is their defenses, but it's like it's a ton of orbs. Like there's 4 orbs right there for the attack, 3 red, 1 green, and there's 3 red, 3 green for the resistances. So I'm not exactly sure how they're mapping this out with offensive and defensive capabilities with the elements, but it's just a ton more orbs. No idea what to make of this. We shall see what is descriptive of it in this menu right here. I can only imagine they're going to describe like what the percentages are, or like what the increases are if they have certain amount of orbs in here, and what like the combination might entail if they have double orbs or like 2 different color orbs in the same resistance panel or offensive panel. But in any case, I'm talking way too much about this. Let's move on to the next graphic. It seems as if it's adding a red orb from the left to the right. Yeah, look at this. It's adding a red attack orb from here to here. I'm not exactly sure what this entails, but it's also showing that this is like a greater than us like creature variation, obviously because he's gaining like a red orb, but it's not showing like an evolution of anything like that. So it shows attack right here for the symbol and defense right here for the symbol, but I'm not sure what's happening when it's adding a red orb from here to here, because we don't see a level change, we don't see a class change. It's just adding an orb and saying that it's better, which makes total sense, but no clue what to make of this. If you can read Japanese again, please let me know what it says. All right, next graphic is the leader and monster combination here. What's going on with this? Is this just showing equipment potential? Yeah, it's just showing like gear pieces right here on like types of leader weaponry or gear pieces, and monster weaponry and gear pieces and stuff like that. This, it looks like is, no, you know what I think that this is? I think that this is showing like that you can equip the same type of gear pieces that you can to a leader to this specific monster. So I was talking about this before, where monsters were getting like certain pieces, but it had different symbols on the actual monster equipment slots, and then the accessory at the very bottom, which I can only assume is true. But I think this is just telling you like what type of monster, what leader they are referring to. But I think that may be the case where you could simply take like the equipment from a leader and apply it to like a humanoid monster to use like a sword, an armor piece, a helmet, accessory like they can. But I could be completely dead wrong about this. However, that would be extremely exciting if they put that little feature in there. I'm already excited that the monsters can have 4 pieces of equipment anyways, but the fact that they don't have it as the same, or they might, is irrelevant to me. So we just have monster slots for equipment. I love it. All right. Anyways, going on down the line, we have the Zone of Control and Enclose effects. I think that this is pincer attacks. So the chains right here that you see on the Centaur, earlier in the video I mentioned that that might be a status effect for like paralysis or something like that, but that seems to be that they are flanked or enclosed. So hit percentages is probably going to increase, and damage may be increased as well, depending on like where you hit them. They may have taken like a Final Fantasy Tactics side to this, like where even if they're not pincered, if you are to hit them like from the rear or the side, it might actually increase the percentage like that. That would be actually pretty interesting. Instead of like hitting them straight on would be less of a chance to hit them, and then hitting them from behind would be like an increased chance. Maybe not on 100%, but like increased regardless. So let's read the synopsis down here. When a unit occupies a space or hex, the 6 spaces adjacent to it are known as its zone of control. If an enemy enters any of these spaces, it must stop. A special opportunity may present itself if you manage to enclose an enemy unit by occupying all of that unit's zone of control with your own troops. And this is, yeah, it's pitting it right here where this Centaur seems to be being enclosed or pincered. It's not being pincered really, it's just no, it is being pincered. This is from the blue faction against the red faction, I think. Yeah. So it is being pincered from 2 different sides here. The front, the back, and then right back here as well. So do you need to like take more than 2 spaces to pincer it, or no, it's the same concept. It has to be like it can still move, but it can just only move 1 space and must stop, obviously. So it may be a little bit different than Grand Edition was, where you pincered it and then then they can move out 1 space or whatever, but who knows. Anyways, this is the case. It's the same mechanic that Grand Edition had with increased hit chance, probably. And yeah, the pincer effect is a go, so exciting to see that. Good tactical decisions are to come. The next portion, I think, is just the same type of zone of control enclosure graphic here. I'm seeing the same type of pincer effect here with red surrounding blue. So yeah, nothing different. Next graphic, is it the same again? This is where a unit is being selected and maybe potentially a getting ready to attack. No. Look at the ground. Look at the ground. We have like chains on the ground right here. That is interesting. So like, I know what this is. If that character were to move into one of those spaces, they would be enclosed. That is an indicator that you should not move there. That's the only thing that I can think of. Either that, or that you will be stopped if you move to one of those chain spaces. So yeah, I can only imagine that's what that means. Let me know what your thoughts are, especially. But like, yeah, I think that's what that means, is that if you move there, you're gonna get stopped or enclosed. So pretty cool to see that, man. That way you don't make a damn mistake, so by accident. So if you make a mistake, that's your own damn fault. All right, on to the skills and the magic. A beautiful breath attack 4 spaces away is being shown here by this tier 2 dragon, maybe even tier 3. I think it's just tier 2 because of 4 spaces, but yes, a beautiful graphic over here showcasing the breath attack from the salamander, or whatever you want to call it, the red dragon variant. And in the synopsis it says, units, both knights and monsters, have a plethora of skills and magic at their disposal. So these graphics are probably going to show a ton of different skills. So we have 5 graphics. There's the breath attack. Next is, that's a meteor. That is a meteor. Look right here. That's a meteor. My dude, we are getting Meteor Doom. Okay, listen. The previous, like, expectation, or not expectation, the previous, thought I had when I saw, like, those fireballs coming from the sky was like, okay, this is reminiscent of Meteor Doom. It's not exactly it, but it's close to it. But this right here is meteors falling from the damn sky and getting this area. That's Meteor Doom. Fight me about it, I dare you. Next, graphic. This one right here, I did showcase this one actually in the previous trailer, where the Loki, I'm pretty damn sure that that is a Loki, but it has an attack that has an area of effect around it, where it's like swinging its axe and doing a whirlwind type of thing. But yeah, so we showed that earlier. Pretty cool to see that again. Next graphic is, I showed this as well, the Celestial Sword coming from the sky, which I think is Divine Ray, but it might be specific to the Paladin class where it's named completely different, but it may take a different name and still is the Divine Ray attack, but there may be two different attacks, who knows. But yeah, Celestial Sword coming from the sky, that is a sick graphic. I love that graphic. Next one is a heal. I haven't seen this yet, actually. Look. The unicorn right here is acting. It's casting a heal on this unit right here and healing it for 179 in green numbers. That is a heal. Very, very cool. I like that we finally got a chance to see some supportive magic here instead of just a bunch of attack magic. So moving on, we have the last, the final and last graphic here in the what's this called? The battle map. So over here we have leveling up and growth. Units gain experience based on their contribution in battle. This will allow them to level up, increasing their abilities. So Rubino is being showed here to level up from 5 to 6, getting all the increases to his stats depending on the min-max value. They probably changed min-max values for monsters that we're normally used to. Maybe they did not. Who knows? But yeah, so right here we're seeing him gain 6 HP, 4 MP, 1 Strength, 1 Intelligence, 1 Agility, and 7 Rune Power. It doesn't say exactly, but that is definitely Rune Power for sure. Alright, next graphic. We're seeing the dragon level up from 9 to 10. This is what I still shot at earlier in the trailer video. And of course, this will be, he'll be able to evolve past this. When the next graphic shows up, ooh, it's a unicorn graphic. This is new. I haven't seen this. It's a simple level up, yes, but like, that's a really cool shot. I like the graphic of the unicorn a bunch. That is awesome. I love that. Okay, next category, game mode. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Look what I'm looking at right now. We have a challenge mode. Hang on. I have to go and read the main one first. Okay, Legend of Runersia main mode. Choose one of the 6 powers and reclaim the pages of the Legend of Runersia as you aim to unify the continent. The number of bases and knights you begin with vary depending on which country you choose. But after this, we have an alternate chapter, a challenge mode, maybe even post-game. Choose 10 epic heroes, 1 ruler, and 9 knights, and charge headfirst into chaos. Your goal, continental conquest. That is so awesome how we can customize it like that. I have no clue how they're going to do this with like countries or whatever. Like, are they going to work together? Can we choose from like the storyline based characters, or do we just like choose one of the rulers and then choose from their knights that they have under their rule? Or do we like choose from our like classes of choice? Do we like choose between paladins, between avengers, between you know, like sorceresses and witches and stuff like that? Do we choose what we want instead of like being limited to like the factions knights that they started with? This is a really cool feature, man. I'm so excited to get into challenge mode only. Like, I definitely want to give the storyline its time of day. Obviously, that's probably going to be my favorite, but the challenge mode is probably going to grow on me very, very quickly. So, wow, I did not expect that. I haven't seen this whatsoever. This is my first time seeing challenge mode. Wow, that's incredible. I don't know when this is going to be able to be unlocked, though. I think they're going to make it to where you have to play through the story at least one time, and then you can go through challenge mode. But they might have it set up, actually, to where you have to beat it with a certain country, and then you can do a challenge mode with the ruler of that country, and then choose the 9 knights under that ruler's rule. And then you have to do the same thing, of course, with the other countries as well. But who knows? It may be completely different, and you're like, okay, here's the rulers that you have available to you. They have nothing to do with the story, but here you go. Go in, have fun, and conquer the continent. So that is so cool. I love that, man. That is amazing. All right, the next big section is probably going to be it for like the big sections of the website, but is the character screen. So let's go ahead and check out the character roster. I'm ready to get into some lore, buddy. Let's look at the first faction. We have Rubino leading the faction of the Norzaleo Kingdom. I said Empire several times. I am so sorry. Let's go ahead and click on that real quick and look at what we have within the kingdom, not the Empire. Rubino. There's a huge synopsis of a bunch of different characters right here. I can only imagine that each one of these has their own lore and stuff like that. Aha, I see. Okay, I just wanted to check to make sure I didn't have to read like a whole bunch of stuff, but this will be updated as it progresses. So coming soon. It's probably just going to give you the synopsis of the leader itself of the country. Yeah, very. Oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go ahead and read the synopsis of Rubino here. Okay, so CV Soma Saito, is that the artist? Yeah, that's the artist. Contributing. No, wait, no, is that the voice actor? Is that contributing voice? Is that what that means? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's contributing voice. Anyways, gender male, age 17, initial class Prince. So this is probably going to be reminiscent of Lance, but a different color. So not red, but blue. All right, profile. Heir to the throne of the Norzaleo Kingdom, clad in the Brigandine of Justice. Instructed in combat by General Grados, which is this guy right here. He's his mentor. Geraint, I'm looking at you. Since a young age, this talented young man is also fond of the arts and excels in both. Sensitive to others and kind at heart, he is well loved by the people. At the same time, he possesses the strength of character to do what is right when need be. His father, Rubino III's death and the invasion of the Holy Gustava Empire has brought conflict to the Norzaleo Kingdom. Now Rubino steps onto the battlefield, determined to suppress the flames of war in the name of justice. So it seems like the Holy Gustava Kingdom is the Esgaris Empire being represented and taking over that northern land that belonged to this kingdom initially. And it's Zemeckis invading Lance. That's what that is. But it's just entirely different with coloration and stuff like that. So there's probably different motives and stuff like that. Where like the leader of the Gustava Empire probably didn't come from the Norzaleo Kingdom like Zemeckis did with Almekia, but I have no clue what the intentions are or what the motives are, but yeah, that is very, very close to what happened in Legend of Fortuna. So anyways, moving on to the other characters, I just want to read the names here. We have Grados, which is apparently that leader's mentor, age 55, holy crap, I wonder if Geraint is around that age. Initial class is Paladin, so I remember that Dinadan started as a Paladin in Caerleon, but Geraint started as a Shogun, or level 19 Samurai into Shogun eventually. And then we have Anje Shizler, interesting name here, 38, initial class is a Knight, so not exactly a Paladin, it's probably the tier 2. Let's see, the next one is Elena Shizler, so this is apparently this dude's sister, so they're probably brother and sister. Age 17. How old was he? Could be brother and sister, or could be daughter and father. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure. So, Rina Onizumi is the contributing voice actor, and the initial class here is a hunter with a bow back here. We can clearly see that. Next one is Pick. Interesting. So the age is 12. Okay, and the initial class is a Barrett rookie. I have no clue what to make of that whatsoever. Please let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, no clue what to make of that. It just looks like a fairy to me, like the original monsters did. But apparently, this is a leader within the kingdom. So, anyways, Jiu is age 65. Initial class Saint. They're using the Saint class. That is awesome. I can only imagine that this is the tier 3. I really, really hope that this girl starts at level 20 or above and has like a crazy amount of magic spells to use at her disposal, because the Saint was tier 3 in Legend of Fortuna and stuff like that. So yeah, it may not be true, but I think that is going to be true. So excellent, excellent. So very nice. So it seems like the leaders that we have here, Rubino is going to have his own level, but like Grados is probably Paladin tier 3. Anje and Elena are probably going to be tier 2s. Pig is probably either tier 2 or tier 1, and Gio is probably tier 3 as well, and more. So we're going to have a ton of profiles here to look at within each faction. I'm so excited to read every single character's lore and see who is going to be added to each roster, or each country roster, as time progresses. So definitely keep an eye on the website. Again, the link is in the description whenever you would like to check it out. Okay, let's move on to, let's see, they were down below. Let's just go from here. Nozalia Kingdom, let's go from left to right. Let's go to the Republic of Guimul. This one right here, showcasing the leader Eliza Uzala. This girl right here is age 23, and her initial class is called a Rose Knight. Let's read the synopsis. Daughter of the bedridden 15th president of the Republic of Guimul, Alden Uzala, a national crisis and a commission by the Sword of Anjay changes her life forever. Anjay was the dude in the Norzalio Kingdom, okay? Previously concealing her identity to dance on the stage, she now dons the Brigandine of Glory on the battlefield as the leader of Guimul. Just as the three Mul Anjay sisters once did, she now devotes her life to protecting the nation of Glory. Interesting. So wait, Anjay was the name of the dude on the Norzalio Kingdom, but this right here says Mule Anjay or something like that, which seems to be different because it just says sisters. So it might not be the same, but the name right here, Anjay, is the same from the previous kingdom. Let's look at the other members here. We have Moi, which is age 64. This guy is a wizard. This reminds me of Gish, definitely. This definitely reminds me of Gish. Wizard class was tier 3. I can imagine he starts at tier 3. Pretty cool. Darian, this right here is a knight tier 2 potentially, age 30. Next is Kane as a knight. I thought that this graphic right here was going to be a paladin, but no, he's a knight tier 2, 28. I'm spitballing, obviously. Kate is the next graphic here. Let's see, female, 27, and a rogue class. So this right here is probably going to replace like the ninja class, because we didn't really have a rogue per se in the Grand Edition Legend of Fortuna, but there is dual daggers I'm looking at right here, or like a short sword or 2 katana blades or something like that. So this is probably going to replace the ninja class, but if not, it might evolve into a ninja class. So this might be tier 2, and tier 3 might be like rogue master or ninja master or something like that. So really cool things to look forward to, man. I'm so excited. And we have Sugar. Interesting name there. So we have age 13, and the initial class is Enchantress. So tier 1, maybe they stay true to the frost magic as well, so we shall see. But I can only imagine that this is tier 1 Enchantress frost magic. But we'll see if they change it up. Cool. All right. Well, that was the Republic of Guimul. Let's go to the Shinobi tribe. This is the green. Let's see if he has any relationships to Caerleon. All right, the Shinobi tribe. This has something different up here. Whoa, hang on. Did they have a synopsis like this on the previous? Hang on, let me go back real quick. This right here. Yeah, they did. I totally did not read this. Hold up. So sorry. I forgot to read this. Okay, the Nozalia Kingdom. Kingdom is on a large island northwest of the continent. Established by the hero Edessa, donning the Brigandine of Justice, the nation likewise values justice and hard work. The kingdom's textile spinning technology boosted its strength until it was on equal standing with major countries of the mainland. The kingdom has been in conflict with the Holy Gustava Empire ever since the Gustava incident. I want to read about that like right now. Please give me lore. Please give me lore. All right. So going forward to the Republic really quick on that synopsis. I say synopsis way too often. Established by Moana Caradine, after embedding the 5 mana stones into the continent in a mana release, it is the self-proclaimed birthplace of Rune Knights. Interesting. Housing the Brigandine of Glory. When the former Rune God faith splintered into 2 factions, Republic of Guimul's Moana sect and Mana Cilicia Theocracy's Zai sect, a Mana Stone 30 years war erupted. This scourge in turn triggers a new war on the continent. This has some serious backstory to it. This is like the origin of this story right here. There's a ton of conspiracy theories to make of this. Well, not conspiracy theories to make of this. I don't want to say that word, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one especially, because this is it seems like it's the origin of this particular story, and even further back. So yeah, the what does it say? Where is it? Yeah, the self-proclaimed birthplace of Rune Knights. That is really cool. I like that a lot. So this country right here has a lot of importance. I might even play this one first because of that only. We shall see. That's swaying my decision a little bit. So, alright, on to the Shinobi tribe. Let's go ahead and read the synopsis on the very top. Occupying the deep forest, fortress of the former Hazamu nation, this tribe has chosen a path of self-rule by only women. While using shinobi magic to work as spies or mercenaries for other countries to support themselves, they crave the day when they will be truly free from the influences of major nations. Infusing this wish into the Brigandine passed down from generation to generation in the village, the tribe calls it the Brigandine of Freedom. Interesting, so it's all women. I'm seeing a man here. I'm seeing a man here. I'm seeing a beastie here. Clearly it's not all women, but I guess it's run by women or whatever. So anyways, the leader is Talia, the daughter of the Shinobi clan chief Della. Age 17, initial class is just Shinobi leader, so probably just nature magic or something like that. I think I'm seeing like a staff over here. So anyways, daughter of the Shinobi clan chief Della, although still naive in her ways, this young lady is an elite among the powerful Shinobi warriors. Residing in the deep forests of the former Hazam nation and ruled over by women, the Shinobi tribe's only wish is to be left alone. However, the flames of war that ravage every corner of the continent has slowly chipped away at their freedom. After witnessing the death of her respected older sister Rei, Talia dons the Brigandine of Freedom passed down in her tribe from generation to generation and goes to war, determined to gain true freedom once and for all. So that is her inspiration for continental conquest, to gain true freedom because of her sister being taken over from the war and just like indirectly invading their space. So yeah, basic motive here, but a respectable motive. I like this a lot. So this seems to have a lot of different mages. It makes total sense with Caerleon being the relative or whatever you want to call it. So Della is the next character. This character was mentioned in the previous synopsis. There's that word again. Let's see, what was this? Daughter of the Shinobi clan chief Della. So yeah, this is the daughter and this is the mother right here. Very cool. This character though says that she is an assassin. Very interesting. Age 41. Interesting stuff. So that's waifu material right there. Don't even lie. All right. The next one is Medessa. Was she mentioned in this synopsis here? Let's see. No, I don't think she was. Okay, anyway. Medessa, healer, probably tier 2, age 38. Okay, cool. Next is Sid. This guy is a swordsman, age 22, maybe reminiscent of Dinadan, who was called a blade master in the original. So this actually might be tier 3, or it might be tier 1. I'm not sure. I don't think it's tier 2, but it's probably either a unique class, tier 3, or tier 1. But I don't think it's tier 2. Any case, not important. Yose. Male, age 55, another swordsman. So I wouldn't say they would put 2 tier 3s on the same team at once. So it's probably either 2 tier 1s, or maybe it is 2 tier 2s. So definitely not a unique class though, because both of these guys don the same exact class. But yeah, probably 2 tier 2s now that I'm thinking about it. Toby. Toby, the Wolfman, or whatever this guy is. A Bazoo Knight. Kind of funny there, but yeah, I'm excited to see what this is all about. What the hell is a Bazoo Knight? Age 40. It seems like he's some type of metamorph from a humanoid into like a werewolf or whatever. But yeah, interesting. What the hell is a Bazoo Knight? Please give me more lore soon. Alright, moving on to the Mana Cilicia Theocracy. Okay, for the introduction of the Theocracy, we have the foremost country of the continent containing the special zone Zai, which is said to be the mana spring that birthed the 5 mana stones. Another origin type of country. So this, it's swaying my decision to either pick Theocracy or whatever the red faction was called. I'm already forgetting. Thalicia? Yeah, Thalicia. And then Theocracy. So one of these two is probably going to be my first faction so far. We shall see. But yeah, another origin one seems like, with the birth of the 5 mana stones. Self-proclaimed true followers of the Rune God, the country calls its Brigandine the Brigandine of Sanctity. Holy See Romanov, or Holy Say, that's probably a name, Holy Say Romanov, worked towards reconciling Wimul's Mohana sect and Mana Silesia's Xi sect. But the two countries with vastly different faiths and histories stopped short of reaching a compromise, leading the continent into a new era of war and turmoil. This is where the war started. This is where the war started between Theocracy and Thalesia. That's where it started. Wow. Okay. Anyways, the leader here is Rudo Marco. This guy is age 22, and his initial class is Hierophant. I've seen that class before in other games. It usually means like a two-handed sword wielder, and it looks like he has a two-handed sword right here. But maybe he has a shield hidden somewhere. But in any case, here is the synopsis of the character. The legitimate son of Romanov, the holy say of the Mana Silesia Theocracy. It has been 200 years since the Mana Stone 30 Years' War split the continent of Runersia in two. Mana Silesia and Guimul are two opposing sects, both professing the Rune faith. Holy Say Romanov had been making efforts to dissolve the animosity between them. With hands stained by the blood of his own father, Rudo dons the Brigandine of Sanctity and charges down the path of revolution in order to bring the continent under the rule of the Xi sect. Wow. What a synopsis, man. I love the lore so far. Like, it's enough to get me enthused on which country I want to pick so far, but yeah, this is really, really cool. We're missing a slot for a knight right here. This one's kind of gimped. The next leader here is Selena. We've seen her several times within the trailers and stuff like that, and the screenshots, but Sorceress at the very beginning. This is probably tier 2 of Enchantress, so it seems like they're using a bunch of the same names. Swordsman is different, though. Wait, no, didn't they use Swordsman for like Lufol's class and Alcis's class? No, that was Fighter. That was Fighter. They'd never used Swordsman in Brigandine whatsoever, so that was new. But yeah, Sorceress is from the original, probably tier 2. But next person or knight or officer is Gilliam. Gilliam looks like a wizard. No, this is a bishop. This is tier 2, like Cole's class. So H55 bishop tier 2 is my assumption. Kyle is next here. 42 knight, so tier 2 knight. And the final one is Emma, Temple Knight. What do I make of this? I have no clue. It seems as if she may have some healing powers or supportive magic. Age 19 here. I don't know what to make of Temple Knight. I would only assume it's sort of like reminiscent of a paladin, and maybe like it's a female version of the paladin. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I have no clue what to make of that. Probably a holy knight, it seems like. All right. We are moving on to the second to last faction, which is the United Islands of Morelva. This is for the Escalio fans right here. I can only assume this is going to be like chaotic and stuff. So, Escalio fans rejoice. Here we go. An allied nation of 7 small islands south of the continent and the pirate scions living there. The chairperson of the alliance is selected from among island leaders and dons the Brigandine of Ego. This is definitely reminiscent of Escalio. The war on the mainland stirs up Stella's wild pirate blood, and she decides to take over the continent as the Alliance's captain. Oh my goodness, man. This is female Drist through and through. Look at the outfit. This is female Drist. You cannot deny this, man. That is totally female Drist. Anyways, age 25, initial class is Captain. A descendant of the legendary pirate Captain Hammett. Nominated by Ginium Hammett, her father and chairperson of the United Islands, she dons the Brigandine of Ego and sets off to conquer the continent. To Stella, the continent is no different from the vast seas. Decisive and spontaneous, she reasons it would be best to strike before others have the chance, especially during times of war. Her actions are straightforward and direct. Although short-tempered, she has a generous heart and is endlessly merry and trustworthy. This young pirate captain sails toward the battlefield with a smile, confident she will live up to the trust and expectations placed in her by her people. I'm laughing so hard just because I'm thinking about Drist. Anyways, next is Pluto. Interesting name there for the knight. We have a sorcerer class here that should be tier 2, age 24. Very cool graphic. Adieu. Age 30, Berserker. First time I've seen this. This has to be tier 2. This is Magdamagus. I can only assume Pluto is reminiscent of Camden. Ginium Hammett. This is the guy that was the original captain, right? Yeah, Captain Hammett. So nominated by Ginium Hammett. She is now the leader. So this guy was the previous leader, apparently. So this guy is a Viking. that has got to be tier 3. It has to be tier 3. And it's probably the evolution of the Berserker class in this. So originally we know that the Berserker class was evolved into the Avenger the Dark Knight, but it doesn't seem like they're taking that route this time. It seems like this is either a tier 3 class of the Berserker, so Barbarian, Berserker, Viking, or it may be a unique class. One of those two, but I'm probably going to assume it's tier 3 of Berserker. So we shall see. Next is Umimaru. This looks like a robot. It totally is a robot. Holy crap. It's like a gentleman robot. He's got a cute little top hat. Top hat, cape, the whole shindig, man. He's a gentleman. Age? Question mark. Initial class? Automaton. Okay, the only machines or machine-esque monsters that we got in the original version was the golems. This excites me to see what they have in store for like robotic monster factions or monster species or whatever you want to call it, or if it may be specific to the to this country. I keep on getting the terms mixed up. What country is this? The United Islands of Merelva. I want to remember the name. Merelva. Okay, so it may be specific to Merelva, where they are able to put together these automatons only in that region. It may be specific to it, so that would be pretty cool to see that. But that doesn't seem too fair, though. If only those people are able to summon or construct rather robots and stuff like that. But who knows? I have no clue. It's really cool to see that the robot faction is getting some more love here. And this is a leader, a robot leader. Very exciting stuff. Last is the Holy Gustava Empire. I'm sure people have been waiting and dying to see about this, so let's get it. Okay, this one probably goes without saying that this is going to be the most interesting of the 6. So let's read up on the Holy Gustava Empire. A long time ago, in a poor and desolate northern area deprived of the blessings of mana, Acid Gustav led a group of wanderers displaced by other countries, forming a nation now governed by the Gustav clan that inherited his will. The country's locality, history, and lack of Brigandine was the source of much scorn from other countries, but the Gustav clan unified itself through the worship of their hero, Sin Gustav, and the Zor religion, building itself up into a mighty empire. It's definitely the most interesting, let's be honest here. So, Tim Gustav is the leader of the Gustava Empire, Holy Gustava Empire. Initial class is called Kaiser, or Kaiser, probably Kaiser. 23 age, and here is his lore. The 13th Emperor of the Holy Gustava Empire, the only major power on the continent without a Brigandine. Born from an impoverished land to the north, the Gustav clan is looked down upon as poor filth by other countries for their history, and was long subjected to the oppressive rule of neighboring countries. Nevertheless, the Brigandine-less country has overcome adversity to become a mighty empire, celebrating unity and the spirit of rebellion as its cornerstones. This young emperor now aims to conquer the continent in order to vindicate their beautiful blood of the clan. Wow. So that right there is going to influence so many people. Definitely, I would almost 100% guarantee the majority of people or players are going to start with this faction. I might also start with this faction. So this one entices me. Thalicia entices me, and Theocracy entices me as well. So red, purple, and this one be black. So those 3 colors, I'm probably gonna have to choose between those. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. We have other members of the tribe, the isolated tribe here, or the rebels. Hazarov. This guy is a Berserker class, so tier 2, age 45. The next one is Coco. Love the name. Age 38. She is a healer. I'm assuming that's either level 1 or level 2. Probably level 2 because she seems to be like higher up in the ranks and stuff. So healer is probably level 2 in the female class of like cleric. But I haven't really seen a name for like level 1 female healer yet, but we'll see. Ginger Gustav. This is a relative, definitely. Age 21. How old is Tim? Tim is 23, so this is definitely brother and sister, I would say, or maybe even cousins. So Sorceress, tier 2. Very nice. Look. It's a whip that the enchantresses used to use and sorcerers used to use. That is really cool. I like that. Okay. Little throwback there. Alson this guy is a champion. Champion was a grappler class, but I don't see this guy being a grappler. I mean, he looks pretty jacked with his veins in his arms and shit, but like, the guy looks like a puppeteer of some sort. What is he doing right here? I'm so confused. This guy is reminiscent of Gallo, even though this is not like the southern tribe or whatever, of Morelva. I remembered, see? But yeah, this looks like some type of Gallo character, but if he is indeed a grappling class, champion seems to be tier 3. So yeah, so we had what was it, ranger, grappler, and then champion. So very cool stuff, man. I'm excited. Age 65, moving on. And what a gentleman too. Top hat puppeteer with jacked forearms. All right, next one is Jazz. Who is this? Oh my goodness, waifu material. We have rogue class right here at age 22. Ooh, buddy, I might have to play this class. Or this country just for Jazz. This character looks very, very interesting. She probably has some crazy backstory and seems like an area type of mystery character, but who knows? Like, the name kind of suggests that she is like, sort of like a jester character maybe. I'm not entirely sure. This country seems to have a lot of Escalio elements to it with Alcin and then Jazz. You know, puppeteer grappler class makes no damn sense to me. And then she seems to be a very jester-like character, a mysterious character. And then Coco with the name. Yeah, the names and the look and the characteristics and what I gather from this, the inconsistencies, seem reminiscent of Escalio rather than like the pirate faction. Like, the pirate faction clearly is Escalio. But yeah, this has some elements to it, so it's very interesting. I'm not really seeing like Leonia elements here, maybe the Norzalio Empire, or Kingdom, sorry, but not really any type of defensive faction or healing faction or holy faction, even though it says Holy Norzalio Empire, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure it says Holy. Or, I said Empire again, it's Kingdom, Norzalio Kingdom. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything reminiscent of Leonia anywhere. So yeah, RIP Leonia, sorry guys. Anyway, and that does it for all the factions. So, okay, so that's done with the big sections, I believe. Let's go to the next section, which is creator. This won't take any time. This is going to show probably the cast of the voice actors and the producers. Yeah, here we go right here. So we're not going to read anything about this. You guys can read this on your own time. But yeah, here is the credits showing the producer, the scenario writer, the art and character design, music. I'm very excited for this, especially. Action. Oh my god! Oh my god! Do you see this first sentence? Look at this! Look at this! We will be including all of the music from Brigandine Grand Edition. Oh my god, dude! Oh, I cannot wait! I cannot wait! I know a lot of people like swear by the Legend of Force in the music, but still, we've played Grand Edition for years now, and they're going to include the same music. I cannot wait for that. I did not think they were going to do that. I thought they were going to just write completely all new music, but no, they're going to include all, not just some, all of the music from Brigandine Grand Edition. Man, I seriously hope they throw at least some elements from Legend of Force in the soundtrack in there, but even if they don't, that right there is extremely exciting to see. Oh man, that took my breath away, dude. When I read that sentence, I was taken back, as you saw. Wow. Wow. Okay, moving on. Let's see if I can get past this excitement. Fans from all over the world have fallen in love with Amahira Sato's wonderful fantasy music. Now it will be heard all across the continent of Runersia. That is incredible, man. That is incredible. So, yeah, they worked on the Disguise series and the Brigandine Grand Edition, of course. So, super excited for that, man. Cannot wait. All right, moving on. Here is the director and lead game designer, lead programmer, art director, art manager, and that is it. If you recognize any of these names and their works, please post them in the comments below so I can relate them to something without having to, research it myself and stuff like that. That would take a lot of time. But yeah, if you know any of these names, if they seem familiar, please let me know original works or notable works that they have done, and then we will have a discussion about relatable things. So, very awesome, man. I'm so excited for that music. Moving on, the trailer right here we've already seen. So we're going to go ahead and go to the last tab, which is special. Is it simply under construction? Let's see. No, this is icons, wallpaper, and illustrations. Get your fill, man. I'm going to grab up all of these things and use them for thumbnails, use them for my desktop wallpapers, illustrations. Let's look at this. Yeah, right here, this is the cover of the game, it looks like. Maybe you can download all these for free. They're right here. Main visuals. Here's the characters in transparency. This is where I actually got my thumbnail from the new Brigandine game trailer, my trailer reaction. I pulled this image right here, or this file right here, and pulled the Theocracy leader. What was his name? Rudo? I think it was Rudo. And put him in my thumbnail. So like, yeah, these are all transparent images. Really, really cool for like art design if you're into that kind of stuff. But still, just grab it up just for collector's sake. Why the hell not, right? And here is the beautiful world map that I wanted to have for my background. I'm gonna have to download that and put it as my background on my PC. Yep, it's happening today. All right, cool. And there's the logo. The logo is also transparent, so we can use this as content creators. There's a few of us that we can use this for our thumbnails and stuff like that. But yeah, if you are into art whatsoever, eat this up and then make your own graphics, your your fan-made graphics. So fan service too if you want, submit it to Discord. And yeah, so let me know if you grab any of this stuff up and make your own creations and stuff like that, and just as like fan-made things. I would love to see any type of artwork if you are indeed an artist and you have the wallpapers right here at your disposal for free and the leader icons. Really exciting stuff, man. And that is it for the website. That was a ton of fun. I loved every single bit of that. I think my favorite part was probably the character tab. The game system came close, but I knew what to expect mostly from the mechanics. We saw a lot of new things and a lot of good quality of life stuff within the game system. And I'm a huge micromanager, but like the character tab is probably my favorite. I want to see and read more lore on this damn game so bad. I'm going to check back in here regularly to see what they have added over time. So hopefully they have somewhat of like weekly updates, or at least monthly. I would love at least 1 or 2 monthly updates. I would say it's pretty fair to like request, or like expect, should I say, at least 2 updates per month. But it would be nice if we had it once per week. That would be pretty awesome. So if you find out anything new on the website that I miss, and in the future, if you see anything new that comes up that I also do miss and forget to notify people of in Discord, hit up the Discord server in the description below. Join us on the Brigandine Discord, and then we will have a discussion about what is new and what's to come. And who knows, I may even make a separate video of new features as they compile. So like if like a whole bunch of synopses are included on the characters, lore, the coming soon stuff, once that all fills out, I may do a separate video and just showcase all of that, but we'll see. But in any case, as soon as you see something new, drop it in the Discord or drop it in the comment section of this video. So, all right, everyone, that is going to do it for me. Thank you so much for joining me for this long on the analysis of both the English and Japanese trailers of the game and the entire website. I know it's been a long video, but hopefully you enjoyed the entirety of it. Let me know what your favorite parts were of the trailers and the website itself. If you want to see any of the trailers in its entirety, you can find the trailers here in this tab. So I do want to check it really quick to make sure that you can see both. No, it's just the first trailer. Okay, so it's not showing the Japanese trailer. I will leave a link, as I said before, to the Japanese trailer in the description. So check that out if you are interested. Brigandine fans, I appreciate and love you all very much. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Subscribe for more great videos to come. I am your host, Vago Sonari. Farewell, Brigandine fans. Peace.